So here's a dream from Daphne, and in this dream, she meets the lead singer of Pearl Jam, and she wants to get a photograph taken with him. So how is that a good dream? Well, let's have a look. So here's the dream. I'm on a sofa next to Eddie Vedder. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. He's the lead singer of Pearl Jam. I'm hanging out with friends and he happens to be there. I suddenly realize that I could get a photo of him for my best friend Celeste. I apologize for behaving like a super fan and explain it's Celeste's birthday on Monday, May 9th, and that she loves his music so much. The thought of how excited she will be has me feeling very emotional. Eddie graciously accepts my request and jumps up to go into the next room for the photo. He sits on a raised stool in a room with a low ceiling, like a basement, and poses for the shot. I try to take the photo with my cell phone, but the light over Eddie's head is creating a glare. He has bright blonde hair. I want two photos, one of him and one of the two of us together. I think to ask one of my two girlfriends there who are with us, but it feels like we're in a disagreement and they are being stubborn. And she calls it hanging out with Eddie Vedder. Okay, let's go back, have a look at the dream from the start, and we'll break it down. We obviously can see birth in there, and when we see birth dreams, we also expect to see gifts. And so here, there's more than one gift given. So sitting beside Eddie Vedder is a channeling abilities. Music, singers, and so on, all represent the ability to channel, because music is connected with the spirit world. If you ever read anything or talk to anybody that's had a near-death experience, music is prolific there. But there's something else here. He's the lead singer, so the dreamer is also a spiritual leader. We can tell that from the dream too, just because he's the lead singer, the way she says. There's another thing. It's Pearl Jam, and Pearl in a dream represents wisdom, like pearls of wisdom. So the dreamer's also a counselor. So Daphne is also a counselor. 3 gifts. She's a counselor, spiritual leader, and a channel. And they all work together. She's going to use her channeling ability in order to know how to help people, whether she's working with groups, doing spiritual leadership, or one-to-one with the counseling. But she's on the sofa next to him, so she's meant to relax into that gift. She says, I'm hanging out with friends and he happens to be there. I suddenly realized that I could get a photo of him for my best friend Celeste. So I love the name Celeste, like celestial. So it's like this is a worthy spiritual goal for you to pursue. And I like how the dream uses her. Now, you don't tell us anything about her. If we knew her traits, then we would pick on particular traits that would explain why she shows up in the dream. You apologize for behaving like a super fan. You shouldn't. He's a guide because he has a title. He's a lead singer. So he's a guide and he wants you to interact with him. That's what channeling is. You apologize for behaving like a super fan. So that's already a negative, that you're like, oh, I don't want to interrupt you. Now, why do you not want to interrupt your guide? You do want to interrupt your guide. Your guide is there waiting for you to channel him all the time. And you're like, oh, I don't want to interrupt. I don't want to be, sorry, I'm a bit like a super fan, but blah, 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 blah. Now, it's good in the dream that you do interrupt and he's happy to interact with you just like he would be. So something has caused you to stay back, to feel like you're putting people out if you ask them for help or whatever it happens to be. So that's one of the things that causes you a problem. That's going to be part of the stubbornness. You need to overcome that. You say that it's Celeste's birthday on Monday. So again, that's about your birth. It's always everything in a dream is you, and that she loves his music so much. So that's going to be about you loving your channeling ability that you brought with you. That's really the desire that the dream is trying to bring up. The thought of how excited she will be. Now, we want you to be excited, not her, but you get emotional. You say, it has me feeling very emotional. So we know that you need to work on the feminine side. We know that anyway, because we see later on, you talk about being there with other girls who are stubborn. So there's an issue with the girls. So that's the side you need to work on, feminine side. We would expect that anyway, because spiritual leadership and counseling both work through feminine energy, through having an open and compassionate heart. Eddie graciously accepts my request and jumps up to go into the next room for the photo. Cool. He sits on a raised stool. Yeah, it's a raised stool because he's a guide in a room with a low ceiling. Okay, so the low ceiling is like you're limiting your spiritual side. You're probably aware of that, Daphne. So whatever way you're doing that, you need to fix it. You say it's like a basement. It's not a basement. So it's not really something that's below conscious awareness. It's just that the ceiling is low. And the fact that you pointed out means you need a higher ceiling or need to create more space for your higher aspect. He poses for the shot. That's cool. I tried to take the photo with my cell phone, but the light over Eddie's head is creating a glare. So this is one of the problems. You are spiritually aware, but you think that any of the messages that you would get for somebody would kind of like be glaring on them or too much for them to take, whoever you're talking to. And so you need to overcome that. That's another part of your stubbornness. Don't assume that the messages you're going to get are going to be so strong that it makes you look stupid or something like that, whatever the glare is. But it'll be very easy for you to know that you hold yourself back from this and know why. You said he has bright blonde hair. Guides often do in dreams, so that's fine. I want 2 photos. So you notice all the 2s that come up in your dream. 2 photos, 2 girls, and there was 2 rooms, and one of him and one of the 2 of us together. I think to ask one of my 2 girlfriends there with us, but it feels like we're in disagreement. So that's about you being in a disagreement with connecting with your guides or with using the gift. I don't think you need to go as far as cutting the ties with mom. I don't think the issue is as big as that. I think once you have an awareness of the fact that you're holding yourself back because you think it's going to be too much, shining your light is going to be too much on other people, but you came here to shine that light, so you got to do it. But that's it. That's your dream. Work on the feminine side because that's going to help you then with those 3 gifts. Channeling requires both masculine and feminine energy. So obviously the block here is feminine in all 3. So that's cool. So thank you, Daphne, for sending that dream in. Thank you for watching this clip from the Dream Interpretation Podcast. If you want to hear the whole show, there's a link directly under this video. Please like and share with your friends, all of your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast at thedreaminterpretationpodcast.com. That's also where you can submit your dream to the show and have yours featured. You can also download my free dictionary that has thousands of symbols that will help you understand the meaning of your dreams. Thanks for listening.